The idea around the topic for this podcast video is about what we got planned for the next 12 months, right? So obviously talk a little bit more about this project, this venture that you've got with Miss Britain. Give some backstory on it. What's going on, Matthew Elliott?
Oh, full named me.
Does anyone call you by your full name? Never.
Like my mum, generally after she's like gone through my dad, my brothers, and what have you, and then finally gets to me. But yeah, mum on the Sunday, or if I've done something wrong.
If you've done something wrong, everyone says Elliott. You always get your full name when you've done something wrong.
Yeah, even when you're 40.
My mum calls me Rog. She's the only one that calls me Rog. Like, no one calls me Rog. Rog.
It's that's not even like a similar name to your, like, no. Roddy doesn't even like become Rog.
No.
I can see Rod, but
yeah, hence Roddy, but Rog.
But most importantly, I've got the Woodford Reserve on the
mate, I literally finished a bottle of Woodford, not all in one night, but I finished my bottle on the weekend.
It's nearly gone, to be fair.
I have no whiskey, but at the same time, I've just come off a game of football, so it's the last thing I want.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Well, you're recording this late. That just shows how busy we are.
Yeah, how was your day?
Yeah, I had a proper unproductive day yesterday. And this is like, I don't think many people talk about this shit. Certainly where in business circles or entrepreneur circles and all that kind of stuff. It's like yesterday, fucking hell, I just could not. I don't know whether it was because like in the morning, I'd gone on, I joined like a new networking group just to, because like a lot of my business comes from networking. I know people either bash networking or whatever, but actually for my business, it works, and I can track that, and I can account for, you know, a lot of my business coming from networking. But anyway, I was on this networking. And do you ever have those you go to some kind of thing or meeting and no one's really got an actual business, no one's really making anything, and you just sort of spend like an hour and a half, and I just came away thinking like, fucking hell, I've just spent an hour and a half with a bunch of losers. And it proper knocked my duck off for the day. And, you know, I'm sure that, like, they're all nice people and all that kind of stuff, but I'm on there to do business, help them do business and all that kind of stuff. And when it's not at the same like vibration level or whatever, I'm like, dude, this is just fucked. So I sort of came off the back of there, and then it was just a spiral from there where it was almost like I'd been infected by just like demotivation and what have you. And I just sort of, you know, I ate shit all day and just pissed around and just didn't really do anything. And I just ended up writing the day off. The only good thing was on a Tuesday, I teach a tactical self-defense class. So actually that kind of was, you know, because I even got to the point I said to Saffron, I'm like, I can't even be asked to go and do that. And I'm glad I made myself go, because it was a successful class. We got some really good stuff done. But yesterday was an absolute fucking write-off. So
yeah, like, I know what you mean, man. Those days are a nightmare. Like I've been to, you know, like those breakfast networking events where you get there and there are like two people there. And like it hasn't been marketed.
That's hard fucking grab. I would literally about turn and walk out.
Yeah, a third person comes in, and all three of them, you know, they like I'm all for like meeting people, and you never know where something can come from. I'm not like, oh, who's in the room? I need business. Like,
yeah, because technically speaking, we like met through kind of one of those by way of accidental referral and like third party. So
yeah, so you can never, you know, you never know where an opportunity comes from, but you go there to ideally get at least one good connection relationship with someone that is on a similar level. But when you've got the weird thing with, like, we used to have it, we used to go to this it's called a Great British Business Show. It's like an expo in London, in the Excel in London. So it's a massive show, and there's loads of businesses there, and you set up a stand, and you know, you go there the night before and you spend hours just, setting it up so it looks cool, and you've got a TV there and showcases some of your work, and then you've got a load of freebies. So you've got like branded books and mugs and umbrellas, and you put it all out and you set it all up, and then you get there. And then the next day is obviously the 2 days, it's like a 2-day event. And you're like, we just need one or two, because obviously you pay a decent wedge to go there. You pay
They're
a
not
couple
cheap.
of grand.
They're not
No.
cheap. Yeah.
And they're coming around with clipboards ready to sign you up for next year and stuff, and giving you all these discounts and everything else. And then you find that like there's so many people there that, how can I say this without being derogatory, but they are literally there to get freebies. It's like they're having a chat with you. I'm thinking of starting a business, or what do you do? And all they're doing is like they want to finish the conversation with, "Oh, do you mind if I take one of those?"
Yeah.
And then someone had like one of these rolly suitcases, just filling it up with all
fucking
these
merch.
Literally. And it's like they must have some sort of resale on eBay type thing got going on, or gifts, sort of sending gifts back to, I don't know, Asia or Africa or wherever, to their family. And it's mad. They're like vultures. And you're like, and every time you're speaking to someone of that ilk that that just are not there for any other purpose but to grab a freebie off you, you're kind of like, it's draining, isn't it? It's mentally draining.
Yeah.
And demotivating. Luckily, I did get a really good client off the back of that specific event I'm on about.
And that's the thing, it's kind of like riding out like 2 days to get like a solid gold lead. But it's kind of one of those that is it, like, because you could ride it the 2-3 days or whatever and just absolutely have nothing, off the back of doing it. So no, they're hard work. They are hard work.
Definitely.
Today's not been too bad. Like, because we're I'm doing every day. I'm doing a couple of hours on, obviously, like having bought the Miss Great Britain stuff. So just trying to help Saffron pull a bit of that kind of jazz together. So I'm trying to use like as many sort of local businesses as I can as well. So it boosts the area, boosts my profile within the city and all that kind of stuff. So like trying to get some sponsors on board, all that kind of jazz.
Well, like the idea around the topic for this podcast video is about what we got planned for the next 12 months, right? So obviously to talk a little bit more about this project, this venture that you've got with Miss Britain. Give some backstory on it.
So the backstory is so Saffron, my other half, she was Miss Great Britain in 2017-18. And it's quite a niche thing, so if you say like pageants or beauty pageants and all that kind of stuff, people think Miss World like kind of straight away. So that's essentially like what it is. But we have plans to, and it's already going that way anyway, is to kind of bring it into the 21st century or futurize it a little bit. So gone are the days of where it's just like chicks in bikinis, like the one that looks the best gets through. That's not what it's about. The amount of work that goes into sort of either helping the girls or working with the girls to on things like, because they've got to stand up in a big auditorium full of people and be able to answer interview questions and all that kind of stuff off their bat. Got to be able to speak for 2 minutes on the lead up to it, to a judging panel and all that kind of stuff, on how they can eloquently put across what topic it is that they need to put across. So not a lot of people one like public speaking. It's the number one fear in the entire world, in front of death. So to actually stand up there and do it and do that kind of thing, is nothing to be sniffed at. And then you got other kind of rounds. It's a big charitable organization as well. So we partner with two charities as well to raise money for those guys. The girls can actually win awards based on the amount of charitable contribution they've done throughout the year in the run up to the final. So there's so much stuff, and I'm learning on the back foot because Saf kind of understands this stuff inside and out, and I'm looking at it a little bit differently from a bird's eye view of how can we plan for the future with this, where is it going to go in the future, but then also developing the assets around what's actually happening. So there's a customer ecosystem for the girls to be able to tap into, should they wish, because the whole reason why, we've ended up buying is because it was making no money. Or it wasn't at least making enough for them to be able to, continue on, because
sustain it,
license fee, and it's just the usual. The people who had it before are a little bit unlucky in that they had an events business as well, which didn't see it through COVID and all that kind of stuff. So we picked that up, or we took it off them. They already knew Saffron anyway, and they wanted it to go into safe hands. So when the opportunity came up, I just said, I'll invest, you run it, I'll help you out with whatever. And obviously, it's quite weird having that kind of conversation with my other half, because we're obviously not married and all that kind of stuff, saying, okay, so this is a bit like Dragon's Den. Okay, so I'll give you this amount, but in return, I want this, and this. But
did you grill her?
No, not really, because I kind of know or knew in my head that it was really under tapped, if you know what I mean, of what could be grown maybe over the next 3 to 5 years or whatever. In terms of the assets that surround it. So that was kind of like the bird's eye view thing that I was kind of looking at. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, neither of us have run an event like that before, but
so when is the first event that you guys are planning to run?
I think it's the 20th and the 21st of October is the final is on the 21st of October, I think.
So it's over the course of 2 days.
Yeah. So you have you have rehearsals, because it's like a big stage show kind of thing as well. So you have rehearsals on the Thursday, and then there's an actual judging round on that Thursday night. But really only friends and family come to that, and then obviously on the Friday night is like the big event where you've got sit down dinner, 3-course meal, champagne, all that kind of stuff. And then you've got the after party and what have you after. So
nice.
Yeah. So my goal for that is to get it into profit in its first year. That's the idea.
I suppose you only really have one event, right? The whole year.
Well, you do, but we're also kind of sub-licensing off the live heat. So they've not really done this before, where you're able to purchase a territory like a city to be able to run a live heat.
Okay.
So you could, for example, purchase Cardiff. Put it out there that this is going to be on this date. You can charge whatever ticket money you want for it. The girls come compete, and you select a Miss Cardiff from that.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually, to be fair, the licenses have been, the people have been inquiring about them really, really quickly. We sold London and Greater London really quickly. I think we've done.
So that's going to have a massive effect, selling, having those, because that's essentially where your contestants come from, right? They come.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it is online and through the community anyway. So it's kind of a bit of I suppose, a win-win, in that if they come through an online perspective, but their first choice has a live heat, then they get passed to the person that owns the live heat and all that kind of stuff, and they deal with them.
Qualify that way.
But if they have then a second,
excuse me,
so they have three choices, 3 city choices of where they can apply for, as long as they've got connections to them or within a 50-mile radius of where they live or what have you. So if someone applied for, I don't know, Manchester, for example, or Derby's probably easier because I obviously live here. If they applied for Derby, they could probably have Derby's the first choice, Nottingham is the second choice, Birmingham is the third choice, or whatever. But if there's no live heat here, they can go into Miss Derby, or they can actually go to Miss Birmingham for the live heat, because we saw Birmingham as well. Birmingham Black Country went pretty quick too.
Nice.
So that's just kind of another revenue stream that we brought in straight away, and then we've got merchandise and loads of other stuff, and thinking about NFTs from the digital space as well. But that's something I need to get my head around a little bit more in order to figure out the minting process and all that kind of shit.
Cool. We could talk about that anyway separately as a specific podcast on purely the event itself. As it gets closer. So what else you got planned this year? Because obviously that's just one side hustle, but it's one section of what you're doing this year. What else?
That's one business. Second is I need to get this next level knocked down in Herbalife. So my next level is it's seen as the pinnacle of the company. Right. And it's been a work in progress for a number of years now. I think the great thing is that at my level, it's phenomenal income and all that kind of stuff. But I want to get this next bit like knocked down. So it means increasing turnover by a little bit. You know, we've been super close before, but you know, I just want to get this nailed down now. It's one of those things that's just been evading me for.
And you think you're going to surpass that this year? That's the goal, right?
That's the goal. Yeah. But you know, it's also I'm kind of because I've been doing this now 10 years. It's kind of you can get to a point where you're chasing the dragon, you know, where I'm trying to not focus on that, but do the actions associated with being able to get it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Obviously, as you know, last time we spoke, I just got back from Texas and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking for physical locations to actually low cost physical locations that I can stress test the model without leaving myself too exposed with excessive rent and all this kind of stuff. But you know, either way, you're gonna have to chuck some coin at it to get the right place with all the right fit out and all that kind of stuff. But a place that I can test the market and see whether that's something I can lean into and then open up multiple sites, you know, as a result. So that's the big one for Herbalife. But I've just got to, you know, focus on it and have a good 90 days at bringing in new people who are like entrepreneurs that want to you know, work with me, and I can show them what I'm doing and all this kind of stuff, and then get them going. So that's that one. I want at least another property. That's on the cards, but I also want to have by the end of the year at least 100 grand in the crypto space.
Okay.
There or thereabouts.
Yeah, that's something that you've gone and obviously taken on last year in terms of getting involved in that space. I'm trying to get involved in it. I want to get involved in it, but I've got so much other stuff tied up. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous at the moment. And it's just making sure that I don't lose focus on areas.
Yeah.
Because like, as you know, running like for me to start off with, it's literally yesterday was the first year birthday of my agency.
Sweet. And you're still here, which is a good thing.
Digital media marketing agency, still here, turned over 6 figures in revenue, very good profit margins.
What do you reckon your profit's going to be?
What this year?
You can, as in like what was your I'm trying to do this sensitively so you don't actually name the figure, but you can kind of go. It's
I'm a high percentage in gross profit
because you have very limited overheads, right? So
I say in that my overheads have crept because I've moved into an office, employed staff.
But that was only like towards the back end of the year, wasn't it? So that would have probably chewed into some revenue, obviously, through.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one because when you start off as a freelancer, it's like you make a lot of profit because it's just you and your time. But there's only so many clients you can handle. There's only so much time you can give on your own. And then
there's that fine line as well, isn't there? When you're looking at like what you're going to come away with in terms of like profit, and you know you're going to get smashed by the tax man on it. It's like, okay, so having a digital agency is the prime opportunity to then go, okay, let's invest some of this stuff in some really Gucci stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a write-off, and you know you're going to need it for the future. So it's kind of like that yin and yang, and it's that offset.
Definitely, like that. These are the things that like constantly keep me thinking. So certainly, the start of the year, the aim was to work more on it than in it, and put things in place that means. Like one thing I've learned from last year was how to delegate properly, because when you are a freelancer and you're controlling everything, it's hard to relinquish that control and go, right, I want you to do this. Plus, who I've brought on is someone without experience through a Kickstarter scheme, which is a UK government scheme. If you're not from the UK, it's a government support scheme where literally they'll pay for 6 months. 50% of the wage, so you get full-time staff at 50% less for the first 6 months. Obviously these guys are young, coming in with no experience. They're all kind of like under 24 postgrads, looking for jobs, looking for a way into an industry, or just looking for work essentially. And some of the shit that you have to shovel and the frogs that you have to kiss before you find someone, like, luckily for me, the first guy I interviewed, the only one that gave me a CV for a start. Now I know obviously no one's got experience, but make some fucking effort. Do you know what I mean?
I think these days I don't even think that matters whether they're 21, 24 or whatever. I think that's just the way that it's gone overall.
Yeah. You need some sort of, like, it's some of the stories I've heard, man, horror stories, right? And this is the whole thing. Oh, millennials, they don't work. You know, they instant gratification. They've entitled. They feel entitled. This, it is true to an extent, but there are some really great people out there. And for me, like, hiring someone was a massive thing. And obviously, he's grown. I don't want to get back into kind of reviewing last year, but at the same time, it was crucial to be able to bring someone on and now work with him every day and say, right, okay, he's doing more and more, and I'm giving him more responsibility. For me, the key was enthusiasm. What is he doing outside of, obviously, someone that's willing to learn? Now, I managed to find someone that plays at a high level of sport for his age, which shows a lot. It shows, you know,
it generally shows that you can be coached and you can follow instruction, and
he's got desire. He's got, you know, he gets, you know, for anyone to be at a high level in sport, regardless of their age, just shows that they've got some sort of get up and go about them. So that was good. So then, kind of nurturing the agency for me this year is absolutely crucial. Not to a point where I have to bring myself completely out of it, but essentially things like when you start up, you kind of say yes to everything. And I've had to look over and go, right, okay, where is the quality over the quantity? Who is really kind of holding me back in terms, and this will eat into your profit as an agency because of your time. So that's something that I want to get right this year in terms of growing. I have to find super talent, super people. For me, they're the two things that will make this agency like excel, is the people, the people that you hire, and then the clients, the people that you work with. So they're the two things for me. So I'm aiming big in terms of numbers, and obviously it's got to work profit wise. Otherwise, what's the point in having a business, right? But at the same time, I'm not looking at going, right, okay, I want to get 50 new staff members this year. I could have 10 new staff members. I don't like the number of bums on seats isn't a driver for me. It's more about getting the right quality work. So like, we're doing a lot with video content. And video content is absolutely amazing at the moment in terms of the talent that I've got at my disposal to work with. So we're looking at a lot of, and I've gone to a few existing clients, and I'm hunting other clients down, other prospects down, in terms of going, right, okay, if you tick these boxes, then boom, let's do something amazing. So that's definitely like the content creation side of things. This podcast, getting content out every week, and hopefully obviously adding value as much as we can, and growing this as a channel. I'm going to start my own YouTube stuff, so I'm going to be documenting stuff, just purely from a point of view of giving my children and grandchildren and great grandchildren just something to know and learn about from me, and the journey from like now till, I don't know, 5-10 years, however long I decide to do it, until I get bored. But give it at least, I want to give it at least a good few years of content out there. And again, it all falls in line with the whole being creative, and creating content and so on. And and it's a great learning curve. So I want to get that up and running. The other major things are another company that I've created with another friend of mine who is working on a digital transformation consultancy and development company based on his industry. So I'm supporting him on that. That will hopefully bring in some more good marketing clients as well for the agency. So they're the main key things, is making sure that I can get this to the level that I want it to get up in year 2, and excel on that. And then the other side is grow the brand personally, but just get as much content out there as possible. Just be omnipresent, just be relevant, and intimate with everything that's coming out there. So
with your like documentation and documenting the journey and all that kind of stuff, what kind of gear are you using?
So I was thinking about the same equipment wise. So looking at it, I've got to get myself this Sony Z. I'm gonna have to Google this, man.
Is it is it the Canon Exos that they use?
Do you know, I had it's depends if you're American or you're British, but it's the ZV or ZV-E10 is is a Sony camera. I had a Canon M50. I had it as part of my old agency, so when I left, I had to give it back to
which is the one that all the thingies rave about, all the like influencers and shit rave about. Probably the
Sony one at the moment, I reckon.
Canon's. Is it a Sony Exos one shot or something along those lines?
There's a Sony Z1 and there's a Sony site, like it's a.
I'm gonna have to Google this shit now.
There's a Sony. What is it now? There's like 2 point, like they're called point and shoot cameras, whereas this one's a little bit different because you can put, it's like a retractable lens. But you've got the ZV-1, which is really popular. The one that I just mentioned. And there's another kind of point and shoot, but the ZV-1 is literally I'm sure it's the most popular one. And the ZV
ZV-1.
Yeah, the thing with the ZV-1 is you can't change the lens, whereas the ZV-E10 is like you can change the lens. It's like a mix of two. An old Sony and the latest one. And that's the one I'm going to go for. It looks the nicest as well. So I'm going to go with that. Got to be a Rode mic. Lighting, I don't know. It will improve as I go.
Is yours in 4K?
Yes, 4K, that's the other thing. I want to record in 4K. Apparently YouTube favor 4K videos now. How much that has on their algorithm, I'm not sure, but
what's that like upload wise? Because it
takes a while. Yeah, you need some good storage as well.
Yeah, because obviously you're going to need like terabyte card, aren't you?
Yeah, and a big kind of RAID drive just to store all your content. That's the only thing. The file sizes are massive.
Yeah. And then trying to get them uploaded is going to be a bit of a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah. So I want to really nail down on content creation.
It's a Canon Exos, or it's a Canon EOS. Sorry,
EOS.
Yeah, the Canon EOS is the one where you see all the Divi influencers and what have you with the Rode mic stacked to the bottom or top or whatever.
Yeah, they're the big chunky ones, the DSLRs. It's just this battle between Sony and Canon, and it's what you prefer. But every time I see photography, just Sony, I just love the Sony cameras. Yeah. So I think I'm torn, but I think I'm gonna go down the Sony route. Yeah, but it's each to your own, innit?
Yeah, they're nice bit of kit.
Yeah,
it's just like I don't know how long it's going to be before like these do the same job.
To be honest, they pretty much do the same job anyway.
Yeah.
But it's
okay. So here's a good discussion then. So why would you opt to go for a camera that is like, say, that when you have your iPhone and all that kind of stuff? What's the pros and the cons?
You can attach stuff like a better mic to it.
I've got a Rode mic for this.
But then I suppose you get mainly. I think it's things like when I've recorded on there, to get it over to my cloud, for example, and download it. Is it like this? You're just pulling out memory cards, putting it in, transferring it. Plus, there are a lot more features on these top cameras.
And sometimes you can send them directly from the camera to YouTube, can't you, as well?
Yeah, in some cameras, yeah, they built specifically to do that. Like, I'm not massive techno when it comes to using either or. I know obviously the cameras are quality on a phone, so you could use your phone, but why do people buy these cameras? Because there's so much more to it, certainly from the lens point of view as well. It's a good question. I'm not that technically averse or knowledgeable to really pull out the two differences. But I want to keep it separate anyway, because the worst actually is when you're recording and someone's trying to phone you.
Yeah, there is that.
It's an absolute pain. And I've done that where I've done like a webinar, an online webinar, and I'm recording it using the phone, and I didn't realise that someone tried to phone me and it stopped recording.
Oh no.
Yeah, you got it on silent because obviously you don't want to disturb, and then you realise, oh shit, someone's phoned, and now it's just completely stopped recording. So it only got like the first 10 minutes of the webinar, for example. Yeah. So that was. I
suppose it's easy now, isn't it, to just put your thing in a card reader and upload it straight away and just start working on it straight away. Same as airdrop, I suppose. But
even like planning when it comes to like you can plan to have your camera set up so you can switch it on using the app on your phone, so it's recording you as you're coming in, kind of thing, that kind of stuff. So
cool.
So got that going on. What else? I've received investment from a private investor. A bit of a kind of a contra deal on. He wants me to work on all his brands. He's quite a successful businessman, albeit quite young, but he's done really well, and he wants me to support him on all his brands. So he's basically gone, come on board as my CMO and help me out with all this. And I said, okay, well, come on board on here and invest in this side. So we're kind of doing a bit of a contra deal so that we can work together, kind of thing. I won't go into it too much, but excuse me, that's going to be exciting. The other thing, other than that, from a more personal point of view, is fitness and health, man. For me, it's just key, like diet. And when I say diet, I mean it from a point of view of not just a diet, more of a lifestyle. The diet that I have it's not a diet, but it's my diet, if that makes sense. So it's about eating the right way. So that's a massive focus for me this year. Being 40 and all that stuff starts to stop working or slow down. So fitness and health, massive. It isn't just a January thing. I've been working out like a motherfucker for the last 26 days.
But it's not a January thing.
It's a 40-year-old thing. That's what it is. It's like if I don't get into that program now fully, don't get me wrong, I grew up as a footballer, as an athlete, but I would certainly say I have let myself go diet-wise and training and exercise-wise, certainly over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I think I was watching Impulsive. Have you seen that? Like the Logan Paul YouTube thing?
No, I haven't. What's it about?
You know, like Paul, Logan Paul, the ones that just call out all the boxers and then go fight them.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know who I mean. Like, surely, like.
Yeah, I know who Logan Paul is. I just don't know what Impulsive is. I've never.
Well, that's it. It's called Impulsive, so that's his YouTube.
Impul. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So he's had some really good personalities on there. Like today, I was watching Dan Bilzerian. He was on there.
That guy's mental.
Not absolutely nuts. But he was talking about his new book and all this kind of stuff and what have you. And I've just completely lost my fucking train of thought, as well. It's like what we're talking about. Fitness. Health. Yeah, health and fitness. Right. So, and he was saying, and I can see where he's talking about it. They were talking about like when they're in like creative flow and when they're in severe production, Like they can't balance health and fitness and being in creative flow and production very well at all. Because it's kind of like when they go to the gym, when they train and all that kind of stuff, it wasn't kind of saying that it zaps your creativity or all this kind of stuff, but it just almost sucks it out of you because the energy's been channeled in a different area. So like they were just saying that whenever they're in this like creative flow, when they're putting out content, or whether they're doing creative stuff, like the workouts and all that kind of stuff just really slide because they struggle to handle both together. So I just thought it was an interesting.
That's quite interesting, yeah. Well, like the weird thing is, a part of my training plan is initially like I'm just, I'm on the low carb, high protein, high fat, pretty much a keto with more protein on.
Don't do it.
No, I don't like the word keto. I'm not.
You'll rebound like a motherfucker.
I'm not labeling anything, right? I still eat carbs. Yeah, I played football tonight, so I needed to have a jacket potato.
And you use your brain all day as well, unless you want to like be a complete cabbage.
I'm not doing it like strict keto. What
just
I'm doing
dialing back the sugar.
Yeah, I'm 100%. No, like pretty much no intention to have any sugar. So like the black coffee. Rather than, I used to have a teaspoon of sugar in my coffee, for example. Just not eating takeaways full of salt and full of shit and stuff like that. Again, maybe the odd one or two, fine. But it's all about balance, isn't it? And knowing that the majority of the time you're eating, like majority of my food is cooked from fresh. I got no problem eating any kind of broccoli, cabbage, greens, like all that stuff. I love it, and I love eggs, I love meat, and and everything else. So it's natural for me. I'm not someone that pigs out on biscuits, that craves chocolate all the time and all that stuff anyway. But for me, it was like cut down on the lager, for example, and on the Friday night binges, because that then turns into takeaways, etc., etc. But for me, it's like I need a goal to keep going, and my goal isn't getting on a scale or anything like that. I can't stat, like I'll weigh myself now and again, but how do I know whether it's muscle mass I've put on or fat that I've lost? I just look in the mirror. If I feel energy and I look healthy, great. But for me, the goal is. So me and my brother-in-law watched 14 Peaks on Netflix.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna go do 15.
I'm not going anywhere near those 8,000 Peaks. Nowhere freaking near. But so near to us is the highest point in southern Wales. So it's lower than Snowdonia. But there's a mountain called Pen y Fan, and we do the hardest trail up there. You could do like the little tourist way, which is a hike, essentially an easy hike. But I did that on a weekend.
That's called the Finance.
Yeah, I'm going to do another couple of those again. So I'm doing another one on Friday, but we're doing Ben Nevis in March with the goal of doing Kilimanjaro at the end of the year.
What's the height of Ben Nevis?
Ben Nevis,
4,000, 4.5, is it?
Let me have a look. I can't remember. Ben Nevis. 1,345 meters above sea level.
So what's that in foot?
The summit is 1,345. No, what the hell was it asking me? Square foot. Google 112 foot. No, that's not right. Why is it asking me in inches? It's terrible.
I want to know what Ben Nevis is in inches.
Yeah, I know. 4,412 feet.
So it's about right. 4, 5.
So that was 1,345.
So it's half the size of the 8,000. What was he climbing? The 8,000 ones. Was he climbing 8,000 foot or 8,000 meters?
Meters.
Fuck.
Yeah, those are like death traps, all of them, and it's climbing. It's proper climbing. So I did 886 meters on the weekend. So I'm
need to add like another zero.
I'm not that far off from Ben Nevis, but these peaks are literally like when you get to, was it say when you get to 8,000, you're in the death zone, like the lack of oxygen. They did it with oxygen and stuff. So I'm just looking at it going, man, I'm inferior, or I'm so lazy. Like, this guy's gone and done all of these. Do you know what the thing is with that program? So like, basically 14 peaks in the world are over 8,000 meters.
And he does it in 6 months, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the closest before that was 7 years. Like, that's nuts. It's just,
and that guy who did like all the peaks, whatever, it took him like 15 years to do it. Like, the old guy.
He did it without oxygen back in the day, and like, to do it without oxygen, you can't do it in such a short space of time.
No.
What they did was they did kind of this hybrid thing where as soon as they hit 8,000, they would have oxygen.
Switch to oxygen. Yeah.
So the majority of it, but they put their own lines in. They literally did it all themselves. I'm not looking to do anything like that, but I am looking to really push, like, have one of those targets, like, climb Kilimanjaro, or it's the same as like, if you sign up for a marathon or what have you, you need something to shoot for. On that note, when it comes to like goal setting for the year, now I know you've done like vision boards and stuff, right? What is your process for like planning out? Does it have to be a vision board every year?
Well, the last year or the last few years, I've done a workshop called the Best Year Yet.
Right.
So like you do a workshop and it's like 9 till 1 or 10 till 2 or whatever, and you basically just plan out what your best year yet would look like, and you kind of then work back from there. And the vision board thing is, I mean, I've always had a vision board. I've had these for like a long time. I've got one in front of me that I can see, and I've got the one up there that's kind of like the overarching kind of whatever. So I would generally stick down a bucket list of what I want to get done like this year, but then I've obviously got, so it's like 5, 10 and what have you in terms of like the long-term goals. But the funny thing is also then how as the year goes along, your goals or like what you go for like changes. So like on my one in front of me, I've still got to refresh this one in front of me. It's like half the stuff that I like wanted to buy materialistically or whatever. Fuck it, I don't want to spend that on that. I'm going to invest it instead.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of like still ticked off in my head because I could have bought it, but instead I wanted to put it into making more fucking money. It's like I sort of all of the like the big purchases and what have you that I was going to buy, I've almost talked myself out of and gone with. So like, when
it comes to it, you're like, I don't want to waste.
Well, yeah, because I like kind of go, well, actually, I could do that, or I could do that, and I could actually have something that's equally as nice for half the price and invest the rest or whatever. So to give you an idea, like, have you heard of Dieter eyewear, Dieter sunglasses?
No.
Or around about 800 to 900 quid's worth of, like, in fact, I'll show you my thing on here. I don't know if you can see this because of the light or whatever, but these here
are
800 to 900 quid.
Okay.
So they were on my goal board and what have you. And actually, when it came to buy them, I was like, I went for a set of Tom Ford ones, which are still really nice, very similar to that actually in themselves, and they were half the price of those. But they're still like really nice Tom Ford sunglasses. So and I did the set because I quite like my Tom Ford, that kind of stuff. But I wanted a Tom Ford belt, and then when it came to it, I was like, I can't justify spending £600-700 on a belt.
On a belt, mate. I love all the Tom Ford stuff, right? Like literally, I go on Mr. Porter, look at it, and every single, whether it's a jumper, a belt, everything. I'm just like, man, that he's just nailed it when it comes to like really nice quality stuff. Yeah. But you still think, man, that's quite a lot to spend on.
Well, I don't like to like spend my like, I like either buy big or kind of not all. So I like, if I go to I bought. Although I do quite like have you seen the Yelia brand, like with the coloured Y or what have you. He's got this whole thing around like Yellow World where his face is blurred out on everything, so he tries to hide who he is and all this kind of stuff. It's sort of like an online brand that he's done really well out of, and it's really nice gear.
Yeah.
So like my general go-to for training is because I do like decent training gear. So Under Armour, like this yellow stuff is really comfy. It's well nice. Like Saf bought me those because I'd seen it and I'd mentioned it, so she bought me those like bottoms, and they're like mint training. Yeah. But like I will I'll literally rock around in just I'm wearing this is like a Forces. It's called Forces wear because it's like a Forces brand or whatever. So support the Forces, all that kind of stuff. Buy my t-shirts and shit from there. Or whatever. Yeah. But then I'll go and if I can so I've got actually the back my gym bag is worth about $2,500. Okay, right? Please. Yeah, that's a lot because it's a vintage, but this like near for it. So like when I was looking for because I wanted like the Louis Vuitton Keep or whatever it's called. Yeah. And you can go over and it's like a full on like legit papers and all this kind of stuff. But it's probably like a 1990s bag, like the original. You've probably seen it like in my photos, like the brown and gold like color. So I started like researching where to, and this is kind of just before they went through the nuts kind of spike in price as well. Yeah. So I was like looking all over the place, and I came across this like secondhand site in Japan, and it cost me like less than I think it was 450 quid, like all in. This is including like tax and all that kind of stuff to actually ship it pre-used from Japan in mint condition, like to me, including the import tax. And now the bag is like selling on places like it's the exact same ones that's selling on places like is it Vestair and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But just absolute like fortunes. He's still got like the proper lock on it, with like the key that comes in, like the lock and key and all that. Yeah. So like I'll do things like that where I buy clever. So I can still have kind of what I want, but I've got no problem with upcycling, whatever you call it these days, where you
vintage.
You buy fucking hand-me-downs. Let's be honest, that's what you're doing. Right? And then like I bought Saf a bag for Christmas, a nice bag, and they had a deal on at the time, which was for every £200 you spend, we'll give you 100 back in vouchers or whatever, with a maximum of like £200 or whatever. So the bag was obviously more than 200 quid, but I got 200 quid worth of vouchers. I went on, and instead of like buying the Tom Ford belt with the vouchers, I went on and bought like the nice new Gucci belt, and it only cost me 150 quid. So now I've got a 400 quid belt for 150 quid because of just buying it smart.
Yeah. I agree, man. Like I mix it up. It's quite funny you're talking about this vintage thing. I was literally watching this guy's fashion vlog on YouTube, and he was like going through Soho, basically stopping any guy with style and going, "Oh, where'd you get your outfit? Who inspires you?" Most of them are all like vintage because you find and especially ones in, like, I've been to ones in London, in the nicer areas in London, and you can get some Versace vintage, you can get some Armani, whatever tickles your pickle, right? And but they're all like, because they're one-offs, because like if someone goes to you, "Oh, where'd you get that?" And you say, I got it vintage, or I got it from a charity shop, whatever, they're not going to go out and find it. They can't find it. It's like, it's more rare than if you go, "Oh yeah, I got this on whatever." They'll go to that store and try and find it if they want it. Do you know what I mean? So, but I've kind of, I agree. I know that there's certain things that I can buy, let's call it cheap, that work really well, that are quite popular. So like, I don't know, plain t-shirts, for example, right? Uniqlo, $9.99, but they are the best plain t-shirts out there. You do the research for the value, for the cost, but then I might get a more expensive one in Reese, for example, which is just a different style. I would then buy certain things, like the jeans that I'm buying now are mainly like nudie jeans, which are just like, you know, they're 120, 130, 140 pound pair of jeans,
Mhm.
which are kind of like, they're not mega premium, but they're not super cheap either.
Yeah.
But they just last, and they're just amazing.
I do the
Amazing
same
fit and so
with
on,
Gant jeans, because I know that I can buy them online, because, you know, I generally struggle to buy off peg, or just buy off
Yeah.
whatever. So like to be honest, most of my I fit Hugo Boss really well, and actually I'm amazed actually at how much pricing of Hugo Boss has come down.
Yeah.
And Ralph Lauren, like,
Yeah.
I don't know whether everything's just got more expensive and they've kind of stayed in their lane.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I can pretty much go no problem, because I literally just wear black, so I can just go, I want all of those in black, or I'll have 3 of those, like, different t-shirts, but they're all black. You know, and I would just, like, pretty much buy the same things and wear the same things. It's one less decision to fucking make. You know, I always look smart, but I also know that, like, if I'm wearing black, or I've got that, I know what fits when, and then you can just put anything with it. I could wear a fucking, I don't know, a Moss Bros suit, but have some expensive shoes on and a Gucci belt, and everyone would just think the whole thing is expensive.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, actually, probably the belt costs more than the whole thing.
You capsulate, like, I've capsulated everything, so it means my decisions are easy. It's like, I don't try to wear logo. Yeah, this is a H&M hoodie, for example. But if I wear it with a nice pair of jeans, a nice pair of trainers, boom, that's it. Like, it makes a difference, and the accessories do make a difference as well. The belt, the watch.
I was thinking about doing. You know, you said, what was the t-shirt? Was it Uniqlo or something?
Uniqlo, yeah.
Uniqlo, yeah. So, like, almost like buying, like, their material or whatever, and just having my own logo put on it.
Yeah,
like just like in like a black logo, just, you know. So it is just, so, you know, rather than spending it on other people's, like, really, Ralph Lauren is just his name written on a fucking piece of clothing.
Yeah,
you know. So it's Hugo Boss. It's just
that horse is legendary though, that polo.
Oh, so, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
but even still though, just having your own, like, little, because no one else can have it. Like, nothing can be more exclusive than that.
Yeah, there's loads of celebs that just wear their own brand, don't they?
That's not even available to anybody else.
No, yeah. So it's all exclusive. So, but yeah, we'll have to do a specific fashion one. It's just hard to do a fashion one on podcast, right?
Yeah, me and fashion don't really, like, coexist.
I'm
happy to learn that one. In fact, we should get an expert on here for, like, dressing for your shape and shit like that.
Yeah, but then like, looking at, like, fashion is like, there's a difference between style and fashion, right? The style is just a style that is timeless, or, you know, you could always do it. Don't get me wrong, it can be a little bit boring, but at the same time, it's a safer bet if you've got the fit and so on. But then I watched, again, just binging out on a few YouTube stuff, looking at these fashionista type vlogs type guys, right? All men's, obviously. And some of the stuff, I'm like, really? Like, really? Like, even just, you know, you're looking at, I don't know, well, go on Burberry now and have a look at the fashion stuff on there, right? And the men's stuff, they got skirts. Like,
half of them literally look like they've been dragged through the cock through Primark.
Yeah, like, and these are trends, right? These are trends, and it's like, it's gone from.
But don't they make it extreme though? Don't they make it proper extreme for, like,
really extreme
the runway though? Like, they make it like.
Yeah, they do. But some of these are on sale, and, like, these people are wearing this stuff, and, like, do you know what? Everyone to their own. They've got their own style and that. But when you look at, if I was someone that was like, right, okay, I'm gonna follow fashion and trends and whatever's trend, I don't think I could, because some of the, like, I'm on about, it goes from super skinny to, like, really, like, baggy, out there, baggy, oversized, and stuff. Even I remember when, and elements of it do go into then a certain style for a longer period of time. Like, I remember
I saw a meme the other day actually, which was like, I'm pretty sure Balenciaga is just a social experiment to see how much you can charge to make people look like a twat.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Do you know what happened? Do you know what I read in the paper the other day? So this, you know, they do the Winter Wonderland. I don't know if they do it in Derby, but it's basically Winter Wonderland over Christmas. They set up an ice rink. You can go there, you know, they absolutely rip you off on all the arcades and everything else, and then you can book ice skating. So this girl in Cardiff went to ice skating with a brand new pair of Balenciagas. Obviously gave her shoes in,
Oh,
to get the
I know what's coming.
ice skates. Yeah, and literally she got there, someone had nicked them. Obviously, she had to go and get some pre-marked plimsolls to wear home.
Well, I'm sorry, but she's just a stupid individual.
100%.
One for paying like 800, 900 quid for a pair of stupid looking trainers. Second is putting them in a public environment where
you just don't do it. Do yeah, you just don't do it. I was like, nah, that's harsh.
Silly bastard.
You don't know which way though, because it's like when you used to go bowling, you give in your shoes, and then you get your bowling shoes and so on. It's like that, but like you go back. I don't think
you can do that anymore, can you? You can't.
You don't. No, they got the flooring now where they're just like, yeah, you probably can't do it because of COVID anyway.
I bet they lost so much money on that because then you have to buy the shoes as well or something. You have to like.
I think they might have done like shoe hire in it and rented, but I don't know. I haven't been bowling for years, man.
I went last year for the networking Christmas do, but that was in that little gap that we were allowed out for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and now it's back.
I reckon we've hit that natural close point, dude.
Let's do it, man.